Leafs Nation, it's time. The Toronto Maple Leafs are charging into the 2025 playoffs with one goal in mind: Stanley Cup glory. Matthews is sniping, Marner is dazzling, Nylander is unstoppable, and with the up-and-coming young guns like Matthew Knies and Bobby McMann bringing the heat, this is a team to beat. But this isn't the same old Leafs. Under new coach Craig Berube, this squad is tougher, grittier, and built for playoff hockey. The culture has changed, the fire is lit, and Toronto is hungry for a cup. Buckle up, smash the like button, and let's go Leafs. That's right, the Toronto Maple Leafs have changed immensely under coach Craig Berube. Gone is the razzle-dazzle along the outside and the offensive juggernaut that is Toronto. In is the tougher, grittier, more third-line focused Toronto Maple Leafs that still, yes, have the same core of players, but those core of players under Craig Berube are now playing a more north-to-south system. They are playing more defensive-first hockey, and it has really helped back up the Leafs and propel them to first in their division. So let's go ahead and break down all your favorite players, all your favorite plays, and take a look at Toronto heading into the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. We start here with the 2-3 system. It's Bobby McMann laying the body and Willie Nylander picking up that loose puck on puck support. We see John Tavares exiting the zone and going up high off screen. We only throw two players below the line in order to make this system effective. But as soon as that puck turns over, like we see here, you sneak back in, find the soft spot, and put it into the back of the net. This is a hyper defensive, offensive minded system. I know that sounds a little bit contradictory, but you want to make sure you have three guys back in order to support and stop rushing teams like the Panthers and like the Bolts. But as soon as that puck's turned over, you let your playmakers and your goal scorers slash right in there and put goals in the back of the net. This is new under Craig Berube. And speaking of Bobby McMann here, he ends up doing what he does best. He has moved in so well for the Leafs. He lays body like we saw in that first play. The puck ends up moving around to Nylander. Nylander is going to take it behind the net. Once again, that's a 2-3 system. They didn't have the puck before Nylander ended up coming in. As soon as that puck was loose, Nylander finds it. Bobby McMann finds that soft spot, and you put it into the back of the net. But this is that big key, only sending two in at a time. And as soon as that puck is turned over, bam, you end up adding the third. Scott Laughton is also the new toy that has been added to the Toronto Maple Leafs. He ends up floating in onto the fourth line with David Kampf. And this is very common when you make big time trades at the trade deadline. Sometimes they just don't gel into the top three lines, but he still helps the Leafs become a deeper team and contribute more. Let's take a look at him in this 2-3 system. As we see once again, when they don't have control of the puck, you only have two Leafs down below. One Leaf ends up leaving the zone. The second Leaf replaces them. Now we have two down below battling for the puck again. Soon as that puck's in possession, though, you end up sneaking in that third guy into the middle looking for the soft spot. The soft spot isn't there, so go ahead and leave it up high. Soon as you leave it up high, you want to move it down low. Follow the yellow arrow, high to low, changes that angle for the goalie. Find a second soft spot, it goes right to Laughton there, who ends up putting in one against the Sharks. That's their new system. That's what they've been playing in 2025. It's quick, it's telling. If you're not looking for it, you may think they're playing more down low than they are, but really it ends up being 3 up high, 2 down low. Now their breakout has also changed for 2025. And do you know where you can find all these plays to learn more about the Toronto Maple Leafs and their opponents? You can find it in Hockey Tactics 2025. The link is down below. There's 300 pages. There's 8 pages dedicated right to the Leafs. You can see all their plays, all their breakouts, all their tactics, get all the information, scout for yourself against their opponents, feel good knowing you knew a little bit more about hockey, and you help support this channel. Leafs breakout time. Auston Matthews critical to this play. The first line for the Leafs always drives it home. It's just a quick little one-up here. As you see it, they bump it into the neutral zone with a little bump out pass here. Follow the yellow line to Auston Matthews. They always streak two wingers into here. You don't need two here right now when you got the best shooter in the NHL. One more time, same breakout. Morgan Rielly ends up moving it up the wall. It's a little bit of a puck battle, and bang, it moves up to Willie Nylander. Nylander is in on his own. He ends up putting in that goal. The man is absolutely electric. He has been the best player for the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. Imagine what would have happened if he would have been traded or not re-signed 3 years back. What a dynamic two-way forward. A neutral zone regroup here, very similar to a breakout from the Toronto Maple Leafs. What we end up seeing is Willie Nylander here with the highlighter on him. He's going to end up waiting. We're going to see one man drive the net. We're going to see John Tavares take this a little roundabout in order to get open and slash into open ice. Nylander ends up holding the puck. And here's the dynamic play of Nylander. Unbelievable play right there. That quick little move ends up getting them to bite. You see the Florida defender with his stick no longer in the middle of the ice. He has let John Tavares find that soft spot. Nylander ends up keeping the puck, finding that soft spot, and bang, it's in the back of the net. These two have just been left brain, right brain all year. John Tavares may be slowing down. Yes, he's getting paid a lot of money, but he has still been hyper effective for the Toronto Maple Leafs in this YouTuber's opinion in 2025. Last part of the breakout, Matthew Knies not to be outdone. A little bit of a bump pass here to Auston Matthews. Knies picks it up in the middle. He's a little bit sluggish moving forward. Like I said, Auston Matthews has to pick up a lot of those loose pucks. Knies gets it driving through the middle, puts it in the back of the net. The kid doesn't miss. Really good addition to the Leafs. That's two really top lines, but a very slick new neutral zone system and defensive breakout system by Craig Berube. Really focusing on that north-south, little bit of east-west, but let's stop playing on the perimeter, Toronto Maple Leafs, and let's go down the middle. I think the Leafs started off a little bit slow this year. They're really finding their groove heading into the playoffs with Berube's system. Leafs power play has always been absolutely deadly. Right here off the draw, what we end up seeing is the puck gets bumped down this yellow line, quick little slap to the left, up right back there to the point. And what makes this so unique is that you're running 5 forwards. So if you're not a Leafs fan, but you're a fan of this channel, they do not run a defenseman on this power play. They end up running 5 forwards. Now what we end up seeing is the players getting into their 1-3-1. The Leafs 1-3-1 is quite simple. 1 at the top, 3 down the middle like you would see, and 1 at the bottom, who is usually Matthew Knies. Now 1-3-1 with 5 forwards is very interesting. It gives you a lot of offensive firepower out there, but it is a high risk, high reward system, and it leaves you vulnerable for shorthanded goals because having that defender out there matters. Forwards just don't practice like defenders. They don't play one-on-ones like defenders. They don't understand gap like defenders. So it really is a high risk play and very interesting from a coach like Craig Berube, who is so defensively minded. Right off that draw, they don't take much time to set. It's a quick little snapshot. Matthews finds it, puts it in the back of the net. Now that goal could have been Matthew Knies, but here he is right in front of the net. It's not Auston Matthews' time, it's Matthew Knies' time. He ends up taking a look. He's not moving. He is at the bottom of that 1-3-1, the highlighters on him, and he's using that big body to get in front and those slick little hands to put it in the back of the net. It is quite a deadly power play when you have Matthews in the shooting spot, Marner up top, Knies with those big hands in front of the net. But really what I think ends up driving this power play more than anything is the Willie Nylander zone entry. Here we see an example of that absolute breakaway speed. He ends up picking it up through the blue line here. No drop pass needed, no second drop pass anyway. Cuts it right through the middle, hangs onto the puck the entire way forward, finds a little quick pass through the seam, doesn't get there, quick little bounce, but don't worry, Slick Willie is at the back of the net to put it in for a goal. It's just an all-around deadly way to get your players creative. You have the speed of Nylander. You have all these aces in the hole to put pucks into the back of the net. Florida and Tampa Bay are going to have their hands full on the PK with the Leafs in the playoffs. The Leafs PK leaves a little something to be desired too. It's a little bit of a soft zone entry here for Florida. They end up putting it back up high. They're in an overload system right now. They're trying to get set up for their 1-3-1. And what you end up seeing here when we pause it is the Leafs penalty killer is in the right position at this point, but he's quickly going to get lost. Look at Florida get right in behind him. That's unfortunate. You can't let things like that happen on the penalty kill. And that's one of the bigger concerns of the Leafs when they go up against these juggernaut teams from Florida. They have to find a way to tighten up that PK a little bit, keep some eyes in the back of their head, and play a little more defensive. They need to play a little more defensive first in their own zone on those kills, or they'll get killed. All right, finally, let's talk about their defensive zone structure. It's a very simple defensive zone structure. It's personally my favorite as a hockey coach. I love running this one. It's called a box plus one. You put 4 players in the middle and you have your rover in the middle of that box in the D zone, and you're always trying to create 2-on-1s with that rover. It can also go ahead and generate goals. We see an example of the Leafs getting set up here in their box plus one. The highlighter is on the +1. The boxes are on the outside. It's Matthews right now. There's a lot of switching that has to happen here, though. You're trying to cut off the edge of the ice. That box plus one flips it out. It ends up on the stick of John Tavares, who ends up putting it in the back of the net to ice this game for the Leafs against the Kings. And another example here of the box plus one against the Flyers. You can see the box here. It's building. and we're looking for that +1. There's the switch. It's a quick little switch, and that allows guys like Tavares and Woll to stop pucks. These guys have been so good this year, and frankly, maybe they don't have business being that good. Leafs fans, I'm a very unbiased guy, so if that hurts your feelings, go ahead and let me know down below in the comments. I think Woll has come on and become one of the better young goalies in the NHL. He's going to continue developing. He is a goalie that is good enough to win a cup. Anthony Tavares is good enough to be a backup that can help you win a cup. Both have been stellar for the Leafs this year, but the reason they have been stellar is because of this defensive first mindset that Berube has put into the Leafs, because all the forwards are dedicated to a defensive first mindset. These keep pucks out of the net and good angles for Woll and Tavares to put pucks into the chest, cause whistles, and let the play start again. But one big weakness I think that comes from Craig Berube's system is that he's too soft and too passive. In my opinion, it has been working, but he's too soft and too passive when it comes to zone entry, whether it's on the penalty kill or 5-on-5. The defensemen give up the blue line, they back in. The forwards do a really excellent job back checking, backtracking, whatever you want to call it these days, and making sure that we create those 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s in favor of the Leafs defensively. This has worked for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it does neuter a lot of the speed or the ability to get quick transitions in the neutral zone or in the D zone. And sometimes it does end up falling apart as you try to transition from that into a box +1. We see that here as the Big Cats are entering into the zone. We pause the video right at this quick spot. The two defensemen from the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to give up the line here and take a look at the gap. The three blue lines are the gap. There's only two players here from Florida. I personally would rather have my defenseman gapped better, stepping up, making an aggressive play between the red line and the blue line here. But they're just going to give it up, even though they already have a clear 4-on-2, maybe a 3-on-2 because the guy's behind the play. I still think they should step up more. They don't. Craig Berube's done well, though. There we go. We give up the line. They end up slashing it through the middle. And from there, the Florida Panthers are able to catch the Toronto Maple Leafs with their pants down. We can see the box +1 here. We're not in the best position over here. That yellow line is depicting that soft spot within the box, one that can be exploited. It goes across the Royal Road. Bang, it's in the back of the net. And I think there were plenty of opportunities before that play happened for Toronto to just shut it down. Here's that box +1 breakdown as well against the Bolts. We can see they get into their little box +1. They're trying to cut off the ice here. They want to play in this bottom corner against the Bolts, but the box +1 is weak to length and width. You end up lengthening the ice right here. And now what do you end up seeing? There's a soft spot. You have two options. You can go ahead and find this spot through the box here, which Hedman isn't going to do, or you can put a shot on the goalie here. Hedman chooses to shoot. I don't think that was the right play, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. Tampa Bay is back on the retrieval, and we're trying to get back into the box. But we can already tell that we were out of sorts here. Hedman now has the puck again, and he has two more options. He can go ahead and put a cross corner dump into here in order to keep possession, or he can follow the yellow brick road, these yellow lines here, and widen the zone one more time against this box. He goes ahead, he widens the zone. It's a quick two passes. Those quick two passes end up breaking down the box again, like I said, length and width, and boom, it's in the back of the net. Now, that's not a great angle goal. The goalie should have that, but that is a lot of angle changes for any goalie in the NHL or any level to have to make there. You need to push way too far across this crease way too many times in order to do that. And that is sometimes the weakness of the box +1. So the Florida Panthers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they have the talent to exploit it by getting the zone long and wide when they're in there. Toronto really just has to focus on using that box +1 to get the puck into 2-on-1 situations as quick as they can so they can leave the zone. The challenge is they're a little bit passive in that box. And you see it here off the faceoff. It's a lost draw for the Leafs. As soon as they lose it, now they have to get into the box +1, and they're scrambling. We can see where the box is. We can see where the highlighter is. This is our +1. It doesn't end up working out, though. They're unable to get over to that side quick enough. That box +1, these blue lines are showing the shifts that have to be made. These shifts aren't going to be made in time. There's just no way. Woll is going to be screened here. That puck's going to end up going straight in, top corner, seeing shot. Hey, it happens. Teams are going to get scored on. But overall, the Toronto Maple Leafs look like they have a makings of a team that might go deeper than the first round of the playoffs this year. It's very nerve-wracking for the Leafs fans. You let me know if you think they're going to get out of the first round this year, second round, third round, or the cup in the comments down below. It's a hard path when you got to go through the Florida teams. but I think this is the best Toronto team in order to do it. I think they got a lot more grit on their third line and on their fourth line when you got guys like Lott and Camp on your fourth line. And now when you got guys like Bobby McMann who have moved up for Max Pacioretty in the second line, it'll be interesting to see if they keep McMann there. Did I say McCann? McMann. Whatever. At least we caught it, right? At least we caught it. Bobby McMann has done really well, though, on the third line with Robertson and with Domi. That is quite an antagonistic line. It has enough of a scoring punch, but it has enough of a physicality punch to take teams' lines away. And as we already said at the top of this video, you're going to win the playoffs with the battle of the second and the third line. Against Tampa Bay, I do like Toronto's depth much better than I like the Bolts. It's when you got to play the big cats and that Bennett line that things are going to go a little wishy-washy. You're going to have Nylander and Tavares likely lined up against Bennett, Marchand, and probably Tkachuk if he's back. That rat line is going to be very tough to play against. So Tampa Bay, Florida, I'm not sure which one's going to end up getting the Leafs, if not both. But it's going to be a challenge for Toronto. I still think there should be hope, though, in Canada's biggest city. I think Leafs fans and Leafs Nation should be pumped up about this team. Feel the best I've felt about this team, but you'll just have to stay tuned to this channel for more playoff breakdowns. And if you're interested in more playoff breakdowns or more Canadian team playoff previews, we've got the Jets and we've got the Habs on this channel. So subscribe and check out those videos down below. See you guys. And hey, are you a coach, scout, and general manager, or an absolutely insane hockey enthusiast? If you want to know where we got all these amazing clips from, they're from hockeysportcontract.net. You can break down all of your clips over here on the right. You can go ahead and search for players. You can search for your team. When you search for your team, you end up seeing all the goals, all the plays, anything you want to break down. It doesn't just have NHL. It has all the world leagues, all the leagues over in Europe, all the leagues over in Russia. You can scout any player. You can put any notes you want in on them. They were a big help in making today's video. So if you check out their link down below and you find some interest, tell them Coach Ryan D sent you from Hot Garbage Sports.